back with another interview today with another member of Hardball. Before we jump in on this interview with him, we wanted to just go ahead and just go over some clips, talk a little bit about them, and so on and so forth. So before we do that, let's jump right into this.
Guys, don't touch the car.
Well, Jimmy, here's my extra inhaler. And here's my sugar berries for when my blood needs sugar. Mom says I do better when my blood got sugar in it.
What's your name again?
Jefferson Albert Tibbs calls Jimmy better.
Everybody listen. Wait.
What's wrong with that man? He says he can pitch, Coach Connor, but I might pitch too.
What's your name?
Jefferson Albert Tibbs. Mom says I can play anywhere. My asthma and all, I should probably play first. I gotta keep my sugar up too. You know, Mom said that some boys just plain big bones. And some boys just plain fat ass.
We actually just interviewed
Kofi
Brian,
Evans
the one
and,
that just said that.
Raymond Bennett.
Yeah, Coach. But Miss Wilkes ain't gonna let them play.
Hey. Who's Ms. Wilkes?
She teaches St. Malcolm. She gets on my
We just
damn
interviewed
nerves.
Brian most
Swear to
recently.
God.
That interview's
Real
up on
mean,
YouTube.
Coach.
She's an old nasty lady. She tell your moms every little thing.
Michael V.
You know
Jordan.
she called my house every night last year? Every night.
She won't let these guys play?
Hell no.
Coach, she told their moms that they couldn't play ball until they do these book reports. Mom, wait up!
Hey, my mom made me at Southside Pizza. I ain't walking by myself.
I want to go Southside with you. Coach Connor, we usually quit at 5:30. Mom needs me home. Meet around 6:30.
No, keep practicing. I'm waiting for somebody. We'll be done soon. I'll let you know, Albert.
I'm Jefferson.
I'm Jefferson.
Come on, man.
1 o'clock, all right?
Coach Connor,
What?
can I walk with you?
No, I'm not going that way. Sorry.
What?
You could have just gave him a ride. I'm still trying to figure out what his character was like all about. Was he the kid that was just trying to fit in? Was he the kid that was trying to help the coach out?
Yo, what's up, my pig? What's up, shorty, man? Get a piece of
Give me a
that,
slice. Give me a piece of that. That's me. Now I'm just wondering if he was freaked out. If these were all actors or what. I don't think they would put them in harm's way.
Like that in real life.
Hey, where your mama at?
I wonder if he had asthma. That might be a question to ask. Not the pizza, no.
Oh no.
What up, boy?
Up in the bed.
At the end of the day, all they got from him was a backpack with school books in it.
Aww.
I think it makes you look tough.
Is he okay?
Who are you?
I'm the coach, Connor O'Neill.
Why did you keep them so late? A fool, I called you at Smith and Stevens Security, and at first some little girl didn't even know who you were. Then some man named Fleming got on the phone and told me you were out of the office today.
Please, take my home number.
You can't keep them boys out there after dark. Thank Jesus for Jefferson's strength. That smell? That might be a lawsuit.
I thought that was the lady
Look at
from
you.
Black
You don't even look
Panther.
like you're holding it together.
Jefferson, I'm sorry. I should have called practice, when it got dark. I just came by because as soon as you're ready, we expect you back, huh?
I
And
think he terribly felt bad about
I needed to
it.
know
And that's
what
kinda when
what
everything
number
clicked
uniform
for
you
him.
wanted.
He's traumatized.
You're never gonna say being our coach. Four Spanish men with hiking boots that surrounded me close. I could tell they were banditos because they had taco breath, and they called me hombre. I spun around and hit the biggest one. I punched him in the gut, and as he was falling, he grabbed my backpack. I said, "Stop, you banditos. I don't want to have to hit anyone else." But because they were Spanish, they didn't understand me. Two more jumped me, and I hit one of them in between his legs. My mouth banged on his head, and that was where I got my fat lip. The end.
So where'd you get your fat butt? Andre, that's enough. That was very nice, Jefferson. Excellent use of the first-person narrative. I was scared of the banditos. It's good. You sit down.
Coach,
Good to see you, Jefferson. Who's got number 11?
what the hell?
We going to the ship, boy. We going to the ship, boy. We going to the ship, boy. We
Something always about the music got me hyped. Look at Brian.
Maybe. Okay.
Okay.
Yo, Coach, you're not really trying to give me his ropes, are you?
No, why?
Good, because I already tried, and she ain't happy.
Put your back into it, Jefferson!
There's always that moment like when you're playing ball and hitting a ball, just being proud of yourself. I'm sure that's how
Saturday, right?
you felt.
11 o'clock. Someone's going to be here, right?
Yeah, I'll make sure someone's here on Saturday for practice.
See, when everything was clicking,
Yeah. Keep going, sucker. Yeah, we going to the shit by ourselves.
I'm wondering if they really went to a. It looks kind of fake.
Sammy.
Yeah. Before he became all
Look,
white.
y'all, look.
washed
There's Sammy
skin.
Sosa right there. Look, right there. Look, Sammy.
What is that with
It looks super fake.
Jefferson Albert Tibbs. I believe this is yours.
Look at that.
We need to get those jerseys.
Look at that.
Fellas,
Up in here, I bring down rain so heavy you curse the head. No more talk. Put him in the service.
That
You keep
song
on.
got me so pumped watching this movie.
If I end up dead, I end up dead. Did you just stop tight?
I could relate to that part. Mom and Dad could tell you.
Hands in the air.
we got Jefferson.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason.
Okay, sit down. Jefferson, how you doing?
We know the league wants to cancel the championship game.
Mom
This is that
said
part
it was
that
all
Brian
up
was
to
talking
us
to
'cause
us
of G,
about?
baby.
Yeah. It's over. You guys don't have to play. You guys had a great year. You can keep the uniforms. What do you mean?
We want to play, bitch. Yeah,
You guys want to play?
Hell yeah! For G, baby.
We made it here. We're here. What I've learned from you is that really one of the most important things in life is showing up. I'm blown away by your ability to show up through everything that's gone on. The league never wanted you to play this game, but you showed up. But we only have 8 players, so we can't play.
Drink of coffee.
I was in a tunnel.
It's crazy how much like of
couldn't
those
see the
child
light.
stars are actually big name right now. You know,
And whenever I
like
look
you
up,
had Sterling on
couldn't
Ridiculousness.
see
You
the
got
sky.
Brian who played in all that. Pootie Tang.
then I climbed
And
the
then you got
hills and
Julian,
saw
who,
the
you know,
mountains.
he's doing his thing, and Michael B. Jordan making Creed and starring in some big roles. But you know, I think me being a bigger kid as a kid, and even now, I could relate to Julian big time. But yeah, there was that. What are your thoughts on Julian's little clips there?
I think it just shows that he always had like the passion to like still be on the team regardless of what they said about him. And I think that he always pushed himself to like be the best and like try to prove to everyone. And it just shows that there are some states and cities that are dangerous like that, but it was like baseball was like the one thing that always like kept them together and that always like made them come together as a team.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they all knew what they were dealing with. I don't think the coach knew, but I think maybe there was parts where he did, and he just was like thinking about himself and his gambling and things like that, trying to make his money. Now, if you guys have not seen the movie Hardball, you should go check it out. You got Julian Griffith, Brian Hearn, Stilo from Ridiculousness, Michael B. Jordan. This is a lot of like starting for them. And if you haven't seen that interview again that we did with Brian, go check that out. That's going to be on our YouTube page, and it's in a whole playlist of archives with Adam and Fab. But we're ready to start that interview. I think Julian's getting ready to join in here in just a moment. So without further ado, we do have Julian Griffith here on the interview with Fabi and I today. Julian, how we doing today?
I'm doing great in yourself.
Hey, we're not too bad. It's Sunday. The weather's actually nice out today here in the good Seattle area.
Oh, that's good. We got rain. We got rain over in Chicago. So,
do you want to introduce yourself to everybody who may not know who you are?
Hi. Well, I'm Julian Griffith. I am a professional actor, former child actor, former professional baseball player, current motivational and public speaker, and entrepreneur as well, and I'm a singer-songwriter as well. And yeah, I'm trying to make sure I got everything. Yeah, and former educator. There you go.
Okay, a man of all kinds of talents.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. So I want to start out, kind of get it out the way, the hardball thing. Obviously, that's where we seen you at, and then obviously some other little projects you've done, and then your sports career. But hardball, that was your first acting gig, correct?
Yes, my very first.
So how did that come about for you? Like, what got you into acting? How did you land that role?
So I actually had been auditioning since I was 3 years old. I'm an identical twin, and my brother and I got chickenpox at the same time, ironically, at 3 years old. And people were always telling my mom, "Oh, you should get them into act. They should be on TV." So the day we got chickenpox and she had to stay home with both of us, she actually started submitting us to agents in the Chicago area. So I had done print ad modeling, children's school books. I was holding clocks and math books and stuff like that in the 90s. And then I started playing baseball at 7 years old. So my mom's friend heard on the radio that they were looking for black kids in Chicago to play baseball in a movie starring Keanu Reeves. Now, I didn't know who. I knew of The Matrix, but I didn't. Back then I'm like, oh, I get to play baseball in a movie? Possibly? Like that was my focus. I wasn't thinking anything of landing one of the roles. I was just like, oh, maybe I might get to play baseball in a movie. So because I hadn't gotten anything thus far at that point, and I had been auditioning, like I said, since I was 3. So they had auditions at Evergreen Plaza Mall. In total, I think we had around 10,000 kids. They said tried out. Between New York and Chicago. So I know you interviewed Brian, and he talked about his the interview process. Him and Michael B. So they were the only two from the New York area or the East Coast. Okay. So 10,000 kids. My audition was not the Andre and I can't think of
Jefferson?
Michael's name. No. I know mine. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was mine's drawing a blank. But my audition piece was actually the essay.
about the
Okay.
banditos in the
Yeah,
classroom. So all the skinny kids might have had that audition that he was referring to, but all the us fat kids that was in that audition, it was that. I
Okay.
never ran for anybody else other than Jefferson, and his name wasn't Jefferson at that time either. So
Oh, really?
I went through like 3 or 4 different name changes.
How did they
Yes.
come up with Jefferson? How did it become the last name being Jefferson Albert Tibbs?
I have no idea. All I know is that first it was like Albert, Calvin, Calbert, I think. And it was like so many different script revisions, and then finally they landed on Jefferson. And it was after I got the role. Like it was
Oh,
like
okay.
script revisions. So I think it was like Calvin, Albert. It might have been something else, but then Jefferson obviously was the other one. So I remember reading it as Albert, I believe. Albert. So
Okay.
yeah, like I said, that audition, Evergreen Plaza, my twin read as well, and they were like, wait here. And I'm like, okay. They introduced me to an acting coach, and they got me in front of a mirror, and they were like, hey, practice these lines in front of the mirror with this acting coach, and we want you to come back in and read it. And so I did that. Long story short, the process. Hey, thanks for coming. We'll be in touch or not. And I had about 7 auditions in total, so 6 callbacks for that.
That's crazy.
It was a long process, and but the role was me. I had asthma in real life, and
Okay.
I was fat. There was no bodysuit on me, so it was like obviously it was all me. So it was like I used to get picked on, like everything that Jefferson embodied in that film. It was me, growing up. So that was that. That was the audition. That's how I got it. Literally, I just was hoping to play baseball in the movie.
Gotcha. So I know like a couple of things. Like I was actually talking to Fabi. I was like, man, I really wonder if he had asthma, but you cleared that up.
I did.
But your role, like your numbers on there, your team numbers were 11 and 35. Now, was there any reason for those numbers? Like, did you pick those out? Did they pick them out for you?
No, I didn't get to pick them.
Okay.
It was. So I'll give a fun fact. So 35 was for Frank Thomas.
I knew it.
Right? But so remember when we went to watch the professional baseball game in there?
Sammy
It
Sosa.
was so the original lines is I want 35. Like when he asked, I just want to know. So they cut it out. So pretty much in the hospital, they cut that line, that part out. He's like, I just came here. He's like, I want to know what jersey number you want. And I was like, you're never going to say being our coach. Originally it was, I want 35, coach. Like Sammy Sosa. And then it was something else. Then it was like, you're never going to say being our coach. But they took it out. And then it was another rewrite of like, I think, what was Sammy Sosa, 21?
I think he was 21, yeah.
21? I think
so.
it was a rewrite in that as well. And so that's why there was the Sammy Sosa going to watch him play. But originally wearing 35 was supposed to be the Frank Thomas, but they didn't get that reference in there because in Chicago, the mayor at the time did not let us use the stadium. So when we filmed that, we had to go to Detroit, the old Detroit Tiger Stadium, to actually film that scene. And Sammy Sosa was not there. They filmed him at a game because they were like in the playoffs at the time. They filmed him at a game so we could use the clip of him. So the guy that we mistaken as Sammy Sosa, they also used him as Sammy Sosa while we were there. Yeah.
You're wondering because the part where you're like, it's Sammy, and then he turns around and he's like waving. It totally looks like it's like a clip inserted. Like it doesn't actually look like him.
Yeah, they inserted the clip. It was him. It was him, but he wasn't there.
Like actually there.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
No, and I was telling her, I was like, man, I really wonder, we had this discussion last night. I was like, I really wonder what that 35 was, because your character, he played first base like Frank Thomas. And then 35. So it clears it up. And I mean, honestly, man, if they want to do a biopic, they could probably cast you as a young Frank Thomas.
I too dark. They can make me Prince Fielder though.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I could see the resemblance.
Yeah, trust me.
Are you a Detroit Tigers fan?
No, White Sox,
okay.
and Yankees.
Okay.
But everybody, I don't know if you ever saw. There was like it's been a meme going around since I was in college that they were like Jefferson Albert Tibbs grew up to be Prince Fielder in the major leagues. Like it was like I wish he has way more money than me, but Prince Fielder actually saw it. And he was sharing it on his Instagram and tagging me. And he was like, the first time I went to the ship, and like he had my picture and Hardball next to his. And I was like, hey, if they ever made a biopic of you, I mean, man, even though his sons kind of look like him too, though. So it's kind of like, it's tough. But I just threw it out there to him. He didn't respond back to that message, though. When I was like, if they ever do it, I'm your man. And I play baseball for him. I'm just not lefty.
No, and I definitely see the resemblance. I'll have to show Fabi once we're done with the interview. And she'll be like, yeah, but no, that's crazy. Okay, you're a White Sox fan. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we talked to Brian about like the emotions in that movie. Like, so were a lot of the scenes like when G Baby passed away, obviously, Brian's side of things, how his were pure emotion. Was there any pure emotion for you? I mean, as you said, being a bigger kid, your character, I felt like he wanted to be that kid that wanted to fit in and have a spot, right? Yeah. But like, how was there pure emotions with all of that, or?
So with the G Baby portion, or
just even in general with the whole movie was like, were those
the emotions for the getting picked on and bullied? Yes. Okay. Yes, it was only because I could relate to it. Mm-hmm. And what Brian didn't tell y'all, and was that so I didn't curse either. Like I literally, like, that was not me. I mean the role was me. Like I didn't curse. I noticed I was the only kid in the movie that didn't curse in the movie.
Exactly.
So like behind scenes, they would all be trying to provoke me to eventually curse, like in real life. So that was the whole thing. Like they would all, like, they were like that for real. Like all of them, like, and they had their little cliques and crew. Like I was the second youngest.
Okay.
So I
think we lost you there a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. The G Baby was the youngest. I was the second youngest, and so most of them were 2 or 3 years older than me. So I was only 10. Okay. So they kind of hung out a little bit and stuff like that. So for me, the emotions came when it came to like getting talked about, the fat jokes, all that type of stuff. And it wasn't more so that it bothered me in the film, because like I was so used to it in real life that it was like, I know we're acting. Yeah. So they didn't necessarily like make fat jokes or anything like behind the scenes. So I don't want people who were watching this, they were not bullying me. They were not, but so that didn't faze me. When I got beat up, that was the first thing I ever filmed. That was the first thing we filmed.
Really?
So and it was a night shoot. It's in our former neighborhood. And actually, the guys who beat me up were 2 of my mom's former students. So,
oh, really?
Yes, and my mom taught at Chicago Public School. So it was kind of like everybody. It was more of like I had more of an adrenaline rush than anything. So it was like I was new to acting. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like they were trying to guide us. All of us were relatively new, so I couldn't tap into my emotions the way I do now in my performances. But it's just. It was more like, man, I've been like the kid that was talked about so much. This movie making me cool. So it was kind of like, everybody. So I saw it as more of a affirming thing at that point. I didn't cry in the funeral for G Baby because I'm like, y'all, he's like right next door in the tent in Tudor. Like he's still like, that was my mindset. I was like we got in trouble because they were like, you guys got to show real emotion. I'm like, man, it's hard because like he was annoying back then. I was like, I'm like, he's still alive. He's still alive, guys. Like it's okay. And we put water. We took the bottles of. I think he did shed a tear. Brian was one of few that actually shed a tear. And so,
I think we lost you again there. I think it froze. Uh-oh.
Whoops. Quick intermission, folks.
Yeah, can y'all hear me? See me?
We can, yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but no, it was like I said, Brian shed a tear for real. I didn't have like I was still learning how to tap into my emotions. So was I sad? Yes, but in my mind, I didn't. I was a kid. I'm like, you're just acting.
He's like right next door, so to you,
like he's right next
part of the movie.
Like, hey, like when they say cut, like we about to go to lunch and we're gonna see him. So so the emotion, the asthma, I did do that for real because I knew what it was like to have an asthma attack. So
was it as bad in that? Like because I get like they could hype it up and amp it up to really make that seem pretty intense. Was it as bad as it was in the movie, or like was it just acting right there? Yeah.
So I did the sounds on my own, and then they added it. They added a little bit into it in editing, but I never had like an asthma attack of that magnitude at that point. But I mean, because like I said, I played baseball, so it was like I was just born with asthma. It wasn't like as soon as I see somebody and I start having a panic and an anxiety attack, and then now I can't, So it was slightly dramatic, but they were like, hey, just do the sound. So I just did the sound. Like I know what it sounds like. I know what it sounds like.
Oh, for sure. So now I was telling Fabi because like in your hardball, like in one scene in hardball, you hit the ball and it goes way out there, man, and then you get to second base and they tag you out. And I can relate to that. That has happened to me being a bigger kid playing ball. I played, first base. I played some pitcher, catcher, but having power, getting the ball out there, they ended up getting me at second because I was too slow.
Right.
Yeah. So I know Fabi has some. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say I know Fabi has some questions. She's been sitting back there, being a little quiet, but I know she has some questions for you.
I was gonna ask, like, I know you said like the first scene you said it was like where you get beat up, like, was it like really like staged as to make it look super scary? I mean, I know like there's neighborhoods like that in real life, but did they like set it up to where it was like really dark and scary, or it was like a real like time and place like in that time?
That was a real neighborhood. The buildings were they're no longer there. Those are all real. Real people from the area. It did look like that. That was the real projects on the west side. I mean, of course they added things like the car sitting there on fire. People, having the crack pipe when I got there, and the person's lighting the crack pipe behind me. I've never seen that in real life, but obviously it happens. But so those little things added to the dynamic of it, and so it was still real. It was just it gave people who are not from Chicago an opportunity to see what it is like for a lot of people. Like I grew up very close by, but I thank God my mom did decent enough for herself that I didn't have to go through those type of living situations in the Chicago area. So It was real. Those projects were not staged. They got people from the surrounding areas, and like I said, that's why my mom's former students are the ones who beat me up in that.
Okay.
So,
yeah, no, I went to New York this past year and I got to see some of those projects. And my buddy, he just loves to go to them, and I'm like, dude, like, you're treating it like a field trip, man. These people don't care that Jay-Z grew up there or, Nas, Mobb Deep. Like, I'm just like, dude, I don't care to see that. I'm here on vacation to go see some stuff. And I mean, I grew up in some pretty bad neighborhoods growing up. I mean, here in Washington, we got some pretty rough ones. And it's like, yeah, dude, I've seen it. I've been around it. It's just not something I need to see. So
no, I don't go visit. I go visit my old neighborhood sometimes.
Definitely.
But in the daytime.
You went back to the old ballpark, right? And did some like pictures and was it autographs, I believe?
Oh yeah, I did they had a hardball viewing, and I met the baseball players. One of the places I grew up playing baseball, and met some of the kids who were fans of the movie, and then some of the parents, obviously, who are closer to my age, who grew up with it as well. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any custom jerseys or anything from that, like from the movie, like any props that you got to keep? I know.
No,
Brian said he wished
they didn't give us any. They didn't give us any of the jerseys because we were actually on contract for a Hardball 2 and 3.
What?
So yeah, so it just never happened. But we were contracted if it was to take place 2 and 3. Like we already had our salaries picked out and everything. But it never took place because it was tough making the first one. Chicago didn't want it because of the cursing and the violence that it showed. So no, they didn't give us any. The only thing I had, my cousin was a prop master on the set, so I do have one of my. I have 2 original cast chairs from Hardball. I had my old cleats that we practiced in, but I don't know where they are now. I might have eventually thrown them away. And I do have one of those jerseys because they have 2 they have the G Baby jersey and they got a Jefferson Albert Tibbs jersey, so I was able to get my hands on one of those, but they didn't get. I had to pay for it just like everybody else.
Oh man, yeah, no, it's so iconic, man. I tell you, I see those jerseys all the time.
You see the G Baby jersey all the time. Yeah.
No, I had to sit her down one day, as you probably seen in our interview with Brian. Sit her down and have her watch the movie. She was just like, your movies aren't, your movie selection just isn't good. But,
I was giving a hard time because I'm like, oh, your movies. But then I like sat down and watched it and I was like, I was laughing. I ended up crying. Like my emotions are so all over the place.
I hope you cried when I got beat up too now. Don't just cry when you
Well, my face is like I even like showed him like, oh my god, why is he getting beat up? Like he's just trying to go home.
And you're definitely one of her favorite characters in there. She's like, she's like, oh, cute little chubby kid. But I told her I said I messaged Julian and see if he wanted to do an interview, and she's like, oh my god, he's so grown up now. He lost his baby fat.
I did. I work out regularly.
I need to get back into that myself. But after Hardball, you took a little break, right? Your mom made sure that you had the option to do schooling and things like that, correct?
Yes, 10 years.
10 years.
I took a break at 13.
Okay.
I wanted to move to LA because I was getting auditions left and right. Bad Santa, Gridiron Gang. I'm trying to think of all of them. What was the football movie with Keke Palmer? It was a basketball movie. It was a basketball movie alone. Was it the long shots or what?
I think it's Long Shot or something. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
like that was a basketball movie originally, and like I had like 3 auditions. I just knew I was about to get that, and they were like, "Oh, the movie's been put on the shelf," which means like they're gonna revisit it another time, and they made it a football movie. Trying to think of other movies that came out. Fat Albert, like they had me audition for Fat Albert, like dumb stuff. I was like. I'm like, hey, I'm light skinned. Like I've seen the original Fat Alberts. Like Kenan Thompson embodied that, so it was like, there were certain things that it was a stigma that was already placed on me the moment Hollywood saw me and Hollywood was introduced to me. So they were like, oh, he's chubby. So every role that I was getting auditions for were all the fat roles. So Bad Santa was originally a fat black kid with Billy Bob Thornton. They switched it to a white kid. I thought I was gonna get that too because I had like 3 auditions for that. I was like, oh, I'm about to get these, and they switched it to a white kid, and I didn't get that. Like I said,
how do you think you would have done with that role? You think you would have been able to do it?
I'm assuming so because they had me read for it 3 times and before they switched the ethnicity of him. And I mean, again, he was just that was easier to deal with than Hardball because it was like I've played fat. I've already been fat on film before, and I'm like, he was just eating ice cream and getting picked on because he was fat. Like it wasn't anything like that, you know. So it was like I would have loved it, and it would have been another iconic film to do with somebody like Billy Bob Thornton, you know, and then Gridiron Gang with The Rock.
Classic.
And I still love that.
Yeah.
It was like they had me audition for Madlock, the 6'5" like defensive end who couldn't read, and I'm like, yo. Like, I'm 5'10" right now. So, and I was like 15 or 16 when I had that audition, and I was probably like 5'6", 5'7". It's like, yo, like, why do y'all keep giving me these roles? So, like, so I didn't get any of those, but so I went to high school. My mom said, finish high school and make a decision whether or not you want to go to college or you want to pursue acting. Mm-hmm. So when I went to high school, I was like, all right, I'm going to focus on my baseball. Since I did play, and went through college, got college scholarships, and you know played in college, and then got hurt, started transitioning back into acting, signed you know professional contracts. I started transitioning back into acting at 23, 24. I dabbled in it a little bit with a couple pilots that failed in my college years though when I got hurt in college. So yeah, 10 years, 10-year hiatus.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a long time, but I mean, it set you up, you know what I mean, just in case if acting never was something that you would get back into. But I mean, it set you up. You're doing really well for yourself now. And
thank you.
You know, you signed what was it, three pro deals there?
Professional contracts, yes, sir. Okay. 2014 to 2016.
And what cities were those again?
I was in Fort Worth, Texas, with the Fort Worth Cats. Played with Julio Franco. He was 56 years old.
Yeah.
I played in Washington, Ellensburg, Washington. The Ellensburg.
Oh yeah, not too far from Bryan, actually, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I played up there.
Was it the Mount Rainier League or
Mount Rainier League? Yes. Yeah. And that league folded in a week. Whoever managed the money didn't manage the money.
I mean, as long as you got paid, man, that's you know, I'm sure you wanted to play some ball.
I left in spring training for 2015. So, because I had tore my rotator cuff in 2015. So I tore my rotator cuff. So I had to come home for physical therapy. So as soon as I came home, my buddies, they had played one or two games. And then it was like, my buddy calls me. He's like, hey, man, yo, the league folded. They sent us home. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, y'all just started playing. And he's like, they said they ran out of money. I'm like, y'all only played one game. How did you run out of money? Like, whoever, like, and so there was a whole deal with that. And then I played in Puerto Rico in their AA in 2016, their winter league. And then I signed a deal in Detroit with the United Shores League, Eastside Diamond Hoppers. And at that point, my rotator cuff they said it was hanging on by a thread. The doctor was like, you got to make a decision. Do you want to have the surgery or do you want to give yourself a possibility for it to heal naturally through physical therapy? He was like, you want to play catch with your kids, future kids when you get older and everything like that. So I walked away in 2016. And you know, I still do lessons. I was doing lessons at 2015, starting in 2015 anyway. So yeah.
And that started up with Juiced Up Athletics, right? Yeah. You still do all of that. Yeah, man, I was looking and I've seen all your pricing. It's stellar deals, man. I wish I had something like that when I was
me too.
You know, growing up as a kid.
I didn't have any of this. I was like what I'm providing and what other instructors are providing now is like, if we had any of these resources, I'm like, I would have gotten even further, and I probably would have got there earlier, than college. Yeah.
So you think that if, like, say you wouldn't have ever gotten hurt, like you probably would have just stuck to baseball, or you think that acting would still be kind of a part of your life? If that was...
Both of them were always like neck and neck for me. It was like my whole mindset was like, acting will always be here. Baseball has a time frame, so it's like the older I get, I'm like, they're gonna always find somebody younger who can do what I do. And it's like, it's hard to get into professional baseball, and it's even harder to try to work yourself up the ranks and get to the major leagues, because that's where you're gonna make the real money. Minor league baseball, you don't make no money. You don't make no money. And it's not sustainable if you have like responsibility. So for me, if I wouldn't have gotten hurt, I would have loved to see where I would have taken it, but everything happens for a reason. God had a different plan, and it was like, thanks to that, my experiences and the credentials behind me, I'm able to train plenty of baseball and softball players throughout the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area. So I'm blessed to do that.
Doing what you love, like, regardless.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, Father Time was always a winner, man. I tell you.
I'll be 33 on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, happy early birthday. We seen that. She was like, yeah, his birthday's coming up. So
I'm a March baby too. My birthday was March 5th.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
You're a Pisces.
Yes.
Ain't that Pisces, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you play any other sports growing up? I know you're an Eagles fan, man. We watched that Super Bowl. Unfortunately, we were rooting for your boy.
My cousin is Devontae Smith.
Oh, really?
Yes. That's my
Alabama wide receiver.
Yes, the Alabama Heisman winner. Yep.
What? That's amazing, man.
Cousin. So I was rooting for them. Like, I'm not necessarily an Eagles fan, but I'm a root for my cousin. So I was like, man, this is his first time in the Super Bowl. I don't know him because I'm so much older than him. That's my mom's side, my New Orleans family. That's where he's from. So my aunt texted me like, your cousin got drafted. When he got drafted, I'm like, who? Like, what cousin you talking about? and she's like, Devontae. And I'm like, Devontae? Like, what? Devontae. She's like, Devontae Smith. She sees the picture. I'm like, that's my cousin? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, I didn't go to the family reunion. So I would have met him in our adult years then. But like, I haven't been to back to New Orleans since probably 2001, 2002. So, and that once the hurricane hit, a lot of my family went to Tennessee and everything, and some moved back and some stayed in Tennessee. So I didn't get to meet him. But yeah, that's my cousin. Howard Griffith's my cousin, the former fullback with the Denver Broncos with John Elway and Big Ten. And my other little cousin is with Notre Dame, Houston Griffith.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're the football one. So to answer your question, I played football 1 year in high school.
Okay.
And we went 0-9. And I was like, I got hurt. And I was like, I am not about to risk my baseball career for an 0-9 season. And we're playing against like boarding schools. Like, we didn't have a formal conference. This was and the coach was like, man, I can help get you a scholarship. I said, I'm already getting looked at. I've been getting scholarships. I was a sophomore for baseball. I'm like, sir, with all due respect, we went 0-9 against boarding school. Like, I'm talking like boarding schools where like the whole town comes out to like the football games. Yeah. And like it's pickup trucks and
Friday night lights.
And hey, Friday night lights. and they would blow us out by the first half, and then they wouldn't score the second half, and then they would cook for us and send us on our way. And it was like places like places you look around and you're like, this town is racist. Kind of those type of towns. But you're like, yeah. I was like, y'all. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody called me something while I was here. You know that those type of towns is where we were playing at. So,
for sure.
Yeah, football. and I was good at it. I started on varsity with no problem, but
Okay.
because I could hit. They were like, oh, you can hit defensive end, outside linebacker, and I was a fullback. I never got the ball. They only put me back there to block. So
Okay.
that was that. Yeah. So 1 year, but predominantly baseball.
Okay. Yeah, no, I played baseball as a youth. I mean, we had like a co-ed team. So, I mean, growing up in the, in poor community, we everybody had an opportunity to play and things like that. I mean, did we do good? No, we sucked. But I mean, it was fun, right? It was fun. But, switched it to football myself and same outcome, not so hot. Had a couple of scholarships, but never took them seriously. Unfortunately, didn't really have too much like support in that aspect. But things work out right differently. I wouldn't have met Fabi myself and whatnot. But man, we had a team that produced some pro football players. That was our rival school, but man, once we played them, our first game of the season, I think that set the tune for the rest of the season. We just would get blown out. So for you, I mean, with your injury, you had the Tommy John surgery, which I had to explain to Fabi it's a big deal. I mean, not many people bounce back from that, but you fortunately got to, right?
Yes. I was getting looked at by the White Sox in 2010, and I had threw out over like 60% of my runners in college. This was my sophomore year, so going into my junior year, my high school coach was like, send me your stats, and like he sent them to the White Sox scout he knew. He was like, oh, okay, he was like, I let me get some more footage on them. So I was preparing film, and as I was preparing film, I tore my UCL, which is like, think of like the ACL tear on the knee, but it's in the elbow. And so once I tore that, I couldn't resume making the film. So they were like, no thanks. I was already at a smaller school at that point because I transferred. And so it's tough to come back. Most people come back within a year. I came back within 6 months. I did double physical therapy because I had the surgery in June. So I'm like, a year. Like, I was a C student in math, but I was like, 12 months, I'm going to miss this whole season if I don't, like, I can't afford to come back in a year. There's no way. I was like, I red-shirted sophomore year and I had the surgery. So I got out of physical therapy. I had the surgery June. You start physical therapy around August, September. I got out in December. I got out a month earlier than I was supposed to. Because I went home and did it. So came back in 6 months. I rushed it. I shouldn't have. So it did decline a little bit, but I did gain like the 2-3 miles on my arm. But it's not because of the surgery. People always, it's because of surgery. No, it's the physical therapy that you do within it. So that was in college. So yeah, I'm good here. This is more of the problem now.
Yeah. Did you have to keep your arm straight? Did you have to keep like your arm straight like after surgery? Like, was it like an awkward position to where like they told you like you can't be bending it or?
Oh yeah, they put you in that hinge brace. Like look like Mega Man when you walk around.
Oh yeah.
And like they adjusted degrees as you progress. So like I was walking first, it was a cast and a sling. Then it's the brace. So I'm walking around with the brace, sleeping with it. They keep it locked so you don't. So it doesn't. If your arm collapses because your arm is trying to gain function again, and that UCL controls everything that you do. So like if you take your forearm and you go like this, notice how it's closing just from that all of that controls that. So I had to teach myself how to do, how to brush my teeth and again, and because I'm using it and like I have limited mobility with it. So like I can touch my shoulder now, but it's very limited. So you're learning everything because of you don't know what it's going to heal like. All they can do is get you to as close to 100% as possible. So I did wear that hinge brace and it did limit it 100%.
See, Fabi's a nurse, so she's got such a passion for that. So you did.
Thank you.
She works long hours, man, 12-hour days. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So no, she's she definitely is.
Sometimes I tell myself, I don't know why I picked that career, but you know what? We're all in our careers and our past for a reason, and I told my parents that I was like no, because I wanted to be a teacher, and so I did teaching assistant for a while, and I told myself I really love kids, so I wanted to do that and focus on that. And then after a while, I'm like, well, maybe that's not my calling. So then my parents helped me through college and all that, and I guess now that I've been working at the hospital and getting the experience, I'm like, well, maybe there's a reason why I'm here, and why I do what I do. So I'm like,
Absolutely.
So I'm just, I'm going on my second year, so I'm.
Oh, you just starting? Oh
yeah, I'm just starting. So
you just starting with it.
I'm trying to get into it and see what I like, So.
Okay.
She's a little bit younger than us. She's 28, so.
Okay.
I'm still a baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, my girl is gonna be 29. She's 28 too. She's a baby too. So.
Okay. Yeah. So that kind of leads me to the Chicago Fire, Chicago Med roles that you did. How did you get casted for those? Was that something that obviously that you truly had an interest in?
So when I transitioned back into acting, it was around 2014, where I was like, you know what? The politics of pro baseball, I'm starting to witness them and experience them. So I was like, now would be a good time. I'm a little bit more stable financially, and I can go ahead and, get another agent. I left the one I was with all of that time, got another agent, and I booked Chicago PD first.
Okay.
That was Chicago PD season 4. Then I did Chicago PD season. It was a crossover episode between PD and Fire. That was season 6. Chicago Fire season 8, and then more recently Chicago Med season 8. Episode 13, that just came out at the end of January this year. They playing a cop that I'm tired of playing a cop. I had to tell my agent, I was like, hey, I don't want to, that typecasting thing again. The moment they see you, you get reintroduced. It's like cop, proven innocent. I was a detective. That show got canceled on Fox. Or I'm in uniform, period. I did Utopia for 2 episodes. I was a military soldier. Chicago Med, I was a military police. They combined them.
I was going to say, I've seen some of your roles, and man, you're just kind of playing literally some of the different things, but literally in the same field almost.
Almost, yeah. It was, so I wanted to do them. But now I'm kind of shifting gears, if I don't have to, I'm not going to turn down the roles, but if I don't have to, I'm trying to get more roles that show me a little bit more, because I like comedy and things like that, and we waiting on our pilot to get picked up, a comedy pilot that we shot 4 episodes of it already, and that's me being a janitor at a nursing home. A 1-star nursing home, but I'm a wannabe rapper at night though. So it's I can do that. That's the type of stuff I want to do, and I get to be myself. I get to stretch my chops. I'm great with comedy, and so it's I just want that range now, So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Chicago PD. Did you actually film in Chicago or?
Yes. All of those shows are filmed in Chicago. All of them. All of them are filmed in Chicago. Different casting directors. Chicago PD and Fire, if I'm not mistaken, are cast by Clara Simon. That's the one who cast us in Hardball.
Oh, really?
So, yes. She's the one who does the casting. Chicago Med has their own separate casting agency for that.
Okay, so it's always nice to know people and and things like that. So I know you do music as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you and Brian actually talked about making some music together? I know that's like
he did talk to me about it. We haven't gotten around to doing it. He was supposed to send me something like last year or something, and he never did. It was like, I got this. When he started playing the bass, like, I want you to, I got some beats I want to send over to you. Since he does the rapping, like I sing. My twin brother, he pursues music full time. Like that's what he does regularly. Me, I do it when I want to do it. It's like acting is first, and then but I always had the skill set to do it. So I have like 3 songs out right now, but I'm waiting on Brian to go ahead and send it to me so we can go ahead and get this collab on. And I got some beats I got to send over to him too, though. So, but yeah.
No, it's crazy because when I was talking to him, I found out he's only like 2-3 hours away from me, man. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Dude. I thought he was in like New York or something.
Nah, he's in Washington.
Yeah. And it was Yeah, no, he's not that far. And I mean, you obviously were in Ellensburg, which is, I mean, it's a quiet town, but it's a college town.
College town. Oh yeah,
exactly.
It was fun times.
And you guys have a really good friendship, you and him. I mean, you guys obviously went and did some traveling with your ladies and whatnot. Took a cruise.
Yeah. Well, he's still with his significant other. That's not my significant other anymore.
Oh.
That was. It is. It's my ex fiance. But
gotcha.
Yeah, but yes, we did. We went on a cruise for my mom's retirement after teaching 42 years.
Oh, congrats to her!
Congrats. Yes. Yeah, that's a long time.
42 years.
Wow.
My best friend's mom is a teacher, so I mean, I hear all the stories, man. It's crazy.
I was in there for 5 years. I have an elementary education, middle school, and high school science endorsement, so I can teach. I was an auditor and a coach, so I help teachers who struggle with classroom management. They were bringing in Mr. G. That was my title in Chicago Public Schools.
G.
Yep. Yeah.
What got you into that? Was like your mom a huge influence on that portion
100%.
of things? Yeah.
100%. My mom. And it was like, I was like, I'll always have a job if I wanted to do it. It wasn't a passion. I'm good at it. Like I'm great at teaching. But it was just, my mom was like, oh, they're always looking for teachers. They're always looking for men. Yeah. And more importantly, they're always looking for black men or men, minority men, period. So I was like, that's a fallback plan. If I decide to go ahead and move to California and pursue acting, I could get a teaching job. And that way, at least I have that income coming in. So that was my mindset when I did it. I didn't go to college for theater or anything like that. Like people ask me, I'm like, no, I didn't. I'd rather just take like acting classes or things of that nature. But no more teaching for the Chicago Public Schools. I teach in baseball and softball. I'd rather teach that passion. And I make way more money than I did in the school system, running my own business doing it. So.
Sure. 100%. And you did some theater, right? Like you did a Scrooge musical.
I did a few of them.
Yes. And then you had Choices. Was it Choices?
Choices, Scrooge, Jesus of Nazareth. Our church does the biggest passion play in the country. And I played Judas for 2 years. Great role, but that was tough because everyone knows the story of Judas. Yeah. So the spiritual warfare, the spiritual attacks were real. And I asked God, I was like, let me feel I'm a limited method actor. So like, if people don't know what method acting is, there's a lot of method actors in Hollywood that whatever their role requires, they'll actually go do it in real life. Like Christian Bale is one of them. Like if they had to smoke crack in a film or something like that, they don't go smoke. So I'm a limited method actor, which means like, if I gotta smoke crack, YouTube, show me examples of like I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to smoke crack. But like they'll get those experiences just to go ahead, like Heath Ledger, God rest his soul. Yeah. People have those, they go all in. Yeah. So that was my first time like going all in. And of course it was theater, but I was like, hey, I want to embody it. So when they see me on stage, they see Judas. I don't want them to see Julian. And Yeah, it was definitely an amazing and interesting experience to say the least. But I was like, when the show's over with, remove it. I don't want to experience it. And I mean, like, it was times like I would wake up in the middle of the night quoting lines, and mind you, it was lines that I hadn't even learned yet. It was like in the script, like I'm learning, like I'm hearing, like I'm waking up in the middle of the night. It was crazy. But thanks to that, all the big time pastors and all these churches and schools that come and see the production, they were like, man, this is the best Judas. They had to come meet me and ask the pastor, like, man, it's the best Judas this church has ever seen. And once I heard that, I was like, I'm done. I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. And it was like, why don't want to? No. I was like, I already heard that I was the best this church has ever seen. So I'm going to walk away while I'm on top. That's all I need. Like, I'm gonna pull a Dave Chappelle, and I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm gonna walk away now. Of course, I didn't walk away from $30 million, $50 million either, but I'm like, I'm gonna walk away. Yeah, that's good. I'm the best right now. So, yeah, it was. I like theater. It's very time consuming. So I can't. With everything I have going on now, it's hard to commit to those long rehearsal schedules that they have, 7-8 hours. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is there anything that you're working on specifically yourself, like any projects, anything that, our viewers should look out for, and even us ourselves?
So I'm currently working on a TV pilot, limited series 219. Okay. I know we have a distribution deal right now through Apple TV. Okay. I don't know all the full details of that. I play a detective again, but at least I'm a detective of sex crimes. So this is a sex crimes detective. Waiting on the Home, that's a comedy. I'm one of the main characters in that, and like I said, I'm Andre, the rapping janitor. I'm a geriatric rapper. I made him a rapper. His fans are the people of the nursing home, though. So, his name is Andre Carter, but I made his rap name because I improv the audition, and they were like, he's rapping, and so like I made a rap up on the spot, and I was like, I did a whole rap audition. It was like called. Get that duty up out of that booty, because he worked at a nursing home, like something stupid. Yeah, like literally did that. I made his rap name Lil Duce, but I spelled it. And let's see, now you in the nursing field, let's see if you understand it. You get this. His rapping name is Lil Duce, spelled DU''CHE. Do you understand that? And the song is called Duty Up Out of That Booty.
So you said it's D. Let me write it down.
Yep. Let's see.
I think I got an idea.
I think I do. Okay, so it's D.
U.
Apostrophe.
CHE.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I made it. So yes, the whole reason why I did it, because I wanted them to write in to the show like people accidentally mess up his name and call him Lil Douche.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
and in his mind he thinks it's French. So like he wrote it and his name is Lil Duce.
With the apostrophe.
But with the apostrophe. So that's how I created it. I landed that role in 2021. Like 4 days after our audition, and we filmed 4 episodes of it, waiting on it to get picked up. So we got that. You can actually go on YouTube and they have Duty About That Booty. We did film a music video for it, so you can actually see that.
She hears in that video too.
Yeah, Duty About That Booty. So Lil Duce. What else do I have going on? I am working on my EP. I've been like slowly but surely like working on it, been waiting on the right time to release it. I do motivational public speaking, of course. I do my baseball and softball training business, Juiced Up Athletics. Train a lot of kids in baseball and softball throughout the Midwest. expanding and growing. I can't formally say it, but informally, Juiced Up is making some major expansions.
Okay.
And what else? What else do I have? Man, I do a lot. So I think right now that's it. Hold on, I want to introduce y'all to somebody.
Okay.
Because she keeps knocking on the door. She keeps calling my name.
Maybe.
Oh.
Yeah. Come here. I had her locked out.
Oh, she just celebrated her birthday too, as well, right?
She just celebrated her third birthday.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Hold on.
Oh.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
She messed up her hair, y'all. I did her hair, but I was doing mohawks. She messed it up, so I can assure y'all, I didn't do this. I didn't mess her hair up. But yes, this is little Jolie. Yeah, baby. But I just wanted you to say hi, okay? So yeah, that's all I have going on. I think right now, Juiced Up is expanding.
Pizza. That's Adam's favorite.
Yes.
My favorite.
I'm expanding and really growing. The public and motivational speaking as well is really growing and picking up because the way the world is right now is headed in some rough directions, and we need a little bit more guidance in it. So,
do you go to colleges or just like when they invite you to events? Or
I do schools. Period. I was the keynote speaker for the United Negro College Fund in Indiana for education. So, I go everywhere. Recently I've been doing the high schools and things like that because I want to, they needed more than the college and adults that we because it starts with them. So
exactly
trying to get to the root. I suppose to speak at some elementary school and middle school soon as well, and so I'll go anywhere that they want me as long as they ready to hear the truth though, because I don't sugarcoat anything. So and I make sure I'm mindful of the political correctness, but so I'll go anywhere. Anybody wants it. Anybody wants the truth, book Julian.
I work in like patient registration and things like that at the local hospital. So we both work in the medical field, but she's more like hands-on and stuff. But I work with people that need to do like the financials and stuff. And I tell you, man, we have to ask people their gender. We got to ask them their pronouns. Man, I'm like, I'm going to get the wrong person in the seat one day, and that's just going to be a wrap for my day. So
that's why it's crazy out, man. It's crazy. It is definitely crazy. I'm like, I got common sense. But I guess now you're not allowed to have common sense anymore. So we can't. I can't. So I got to walk around like I don't know. So I got to be oblivious. And I guess that's, or at least that's what they want. So yeah.
Now I want to touch up on one thing real quick. Like with your degree and stuff, man, you were the first Black man to complete that.
The first Black man to graduate from the education program from Calumet College of St. Joseph in 2013. Yeah,
it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I almost got in trouble.
Really?
And I almost didn't get it because my acting side. You can't find the videos anymore, but I did like Mad TV like skits, like Saturday Night Live, like clean stuff. And it was a nun that was over the education program at our college, and
she looked them up.
Saw them because people were downloading my song. I made like a parody song called "Smell Like Throw Up," and like people were like downloading it and playing it and listening to it around the school, and and it was just like you said women smell like throw up and blah blah blah. And I'm like, she's like, you have gender sensitivity issues, and I was like, oh, I don't. I was like, I'm like, you weren't born a nun. Like you watch Mad TV and like Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. I'm like,
what's that?
It's pizza.
So it was just, yeah, because of that, I almost didn't graduate that year with that specific degree, because they were like, oh, that's not good. I'm like, man, I finished student teaching with 110%, literally, no exaggeration. I was like, I had a perfect score. And you mean to tell me that I said I was an actor before I decided to be a teacher. So if you think that that's okay. Hello?
yeah, we hear you.
There we go. So yeah, I was like, no. So, but yes, I was the first black man to graduate.
Have you started watching the new season of Bel-Air?
No, see, look, I have not. I haven't watched it at all.
Oh man,
I did go to a panel where the castmates were speaking.
Okay.
Coco and
Coco Jones.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it. People don't believe me, but I don't watch a lot of TV. Because I be so busy, and like if I'm watching TV, it's PBS.
Okay.
So, and Netflix, anything that gets her to calm down.
Yeah.
So, but I've actually been watching. I finished Outer Banks, so
okay.
That was a good show.
We haven't started it.
You said you haven't started it yet?
We haven't started it. We
Not
just
yet.
heard
So I'm not gonna spoil it. All I'm gonna say is that I somewhat predicted the ending, but I thought it was gonna be a little bit better than what I expected. The ending, at least.
Okay.
And right now, I'm currently watching Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Okay.
Those are both Balin's favorites. It's another YouTuber we watch.
He's a YouTuber and he talks about them all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Cobra Kai so far. It's like I wouldn't have been on these shows. And I actually auditioned for. I know I submitted to get an audition for Outer Banks, but I didn't get it. I didn't get a chance.
So the reason why I asked if you watch Bel-Air is like your story right there. Everything that you told us is literally like the second season what they're dealing with, man. So I'm like, man, I think he should watch that if he hasn't watched it.
They need to put me on. Hey, they can. I'll watch it, but they can go ahead and be like, hey, Julian, let's get on.
If you're watching this,
get on the show. What's up? Like even they making changes to like Chicago Fire and stuff like that. And I'm like, the main people leaving. I'm like, I'm from Chicago. Like I'll make sure the ratings are up. Like I have Chicago behind me. Let me know. Like because most of the people are not even from Chicago.
Oh really?
Yeah, they get people from LA and everything like that. Leroyce, the black cop on PD, he's from Harvey, so he's from Chicago area.
Okay.
That other show you were on, Proven Innocent, are you guys doing another second season or no? No.
It got canceled after the first season. They got canceled. Unfortunately, they got canceled.
I'm like really into crime shows, so like.
No, I wish. If you like crime shows, then you will like Utopia was suspenseful. It was on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And it's like comic book related. It's like comic book related.
I'm watching one on Hulu right now. It's called Accused, and it's like different, but it's like different stories.
Okay.
And it like deals with like people's situations that end up like them being in a situation where they end up being accused. So they go to court. So it's like back and forth. It shows like what it shows like how they got to the court, but like every like episode is different, but it's really good. I'm like really into that right now.
I'm gonna have to check it out. See, I don't mind doing any of the suspenseful shows. Y'all see what Daddy do this for everybody watching. This is what it looks like. This is my regular everyday life. I would love any crime show. My goal now is I'm trying to get I want like a sports film, like a football or baseball, or action. You know, something where I can show off my athletic ability.
See, they had that movie National Champions. Did you ever see that?
Mm-mm.
Russell Wilson, old Seattle quarterback, now with the Denver Broncos. He co-produced it or something like that, but it's about a guy. He goes through, he's like in the, in NCAA and getting ready to play the national championship game, but they want to take a stand because they feel like the players should be getting paid and stuff for all their imaging.
Yeah.
I mean, basically the NIL.
The NIL deals.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think you would really appreciate that. If that's something you have time to watch, it's pretty good, but I feel like you would have been a good fit.
What is it on?
Shoot, I don't even know. We popped up on our Fire Stick one day.
I have a few of them.
You might be able to find it on YouTube.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely I'm gonna check it out. National Champions.
National Champions. I'll send you it over in
please do
Instagram for sure. But I know we're getting to our time right now. You got your hands full. Fabi always likes to end it with a question, and I think she had one for you actually.
Yeah, I think my question would be is if you had any sort of advice, or if you've been given any advice in life, like what would be an advice that you'd share with us or anybody that's watching?
If I've been given any advice in life, what advice would I share for anybody?
Yeah,
in general,
or like if you have, in general, like career wise or anything.
If you don't have a solid moral compass and a foundation to stand on, you will fall for anything, because the last thing you ever want to be in anything you're pursuing in life is desperate, and you don't want to be in survival mode. So the moment you get into survival mode, desperation will cause you to do things that you never thought you would do, because I'm just trying to survive and I'm desperate. So I would tell people to make sure that you live with more integrity, so that way your inequities don't take precedence over what your true values are when it comes to things. So for me, it was the acting. I've said no to plenty of roles and the money was in my face because I just didn't agree with it or I wasn't comfortable. Right. And so for me, like, hey, I'm not desperate for anything that I'm doing. I don't need to act. I want to act, because the need to it means that I'm going to every audition like, I got to get this role. I got to get this role. I got to be able to pay my mortgage. I got to be able to pay for my car notes, all this. I'm like, nope. I am fortunate enough to have that business, the foundation, outside of my spiritual foundation, to tell me, cool, you're stable, you're comfortable, you don't need this. You want it. And then it takes that pressure off you, because if you are when you are chasing your passions, you feel like it's the end all be all. And then that's what causes people. I said, if you never get to it, what else is it to your life?
Yeah. And
this is where people start, unaliving themselves and things of that nature, because they feel like it's this all or nothing. And it's like, no, there's more to your life than just what it is that you're chasing. So I would say living with integrity, having a strong moral compass to stand on, and making sure you have that foundation and the courage enough to say no when things don't feel comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, hey, Julian, we appreciate your time today. It was a fun interview. Hopefully you had a good time. And
Absolutely.
We'll be in touch for sure in the future, hopefully.
Yes, sir. Yes, I greatly appreciate it, you all.
Yes, sir. Well, you have a great rest of your weekend, and you and your daughter hopefully get into some fun stuff today.
Enjoy your birthday.
Yes, will do. Thank you all. You all enjoy the rest of your weekend as well.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.